Welcome to our last day of Zentangle Project Pack No.11. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and I'm going to use our marcus operandus and prepare the tile. We're going to mark off the B and the C here so that we can get our optimum viewing spots.
Right. And we're going to do that on both the sides and both the ends.
Okay.
And you can see how Maria's lining that up with the diagonal. You can use any size sheet of paper that fits within that space. We just put those dotted lines in there for
so
your
you would line
convenience.
whatever the corners would be
Right.
with that diagonal.
Yeah.
So I'm just dropping some lines here, and I like to wiggle my lines there. I seem to be able to do, believe it or not, a straighter line if I wiggle them a little bit. Maybe you can try that and see if that works for you.
Looks like the edge of the tile.
Yeah, it does. It does. How cool is that?
Right.
So we're going to do a tile called Molygon, one of my favorites. You can see the size of this curve that's right, it goes around my thumbnail. And what you do the inner curve first, and then you aura around it. This is the first shape is probably the most important one, kind of rules the rest. I'm going to aura down to about 3/4 of the way.
Or maybe phi.
Maybe phi. Oh my God, it's probably
Right.
phi, right.
Right.
So we're going to aura that first one and then join the edges. And we're going to continue to do this. But you can see that I'm sort of going around that tip so that it curves. It's like a spirally kind of shape. And
Like
I'm
it's
going to
hooked over it almost.
go
yeah.
down to about 5
Ish.
ish, and then join the outside. So you're not worrying about the outside. You're only worrying about the that first line that is an aura.
And these can be any size,
Mm-hmm.
and let's put a little tiny one right in there. They look very much like boat shells. If you go to the beach, and in the newsletter, we have pictures of the boat shells clamping onto each other.
To me, they look like bananas, but that's just me. So I'm going to start to fill them. I'm going to use the Molygon as a reticula, and I'm going to put that curve right down on at that back side, and I'm going to do a little bit of crescent moon. Easy enough. We did this on the first day, or Rick's first tile, and then we're going to aura around that first curve we put down.
So this fragment that she's doing, if you watched yesterday's video where I did a square version of this very same fragment, so it gives you a whole new range of ways to use the reticula and fragment approach now that you can see how diverse reticula can hold a fragment.
So I think this is a very important lesson for us to hang on to, is that you can know 5 tangles and probably be pretty happy for the rest of your life, because you can always do them a little differently. And this is an important part of Zentangle, that we are able to reconfigure and redesign one concept.
And you'll see how through so many of the tangles, the concepts of auraing and drawing behind carry through as well.
So you never have to worry about how many tangles you know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You learn whatever you want to learn, and you do what you want to do. So I'm picking up my graphic 1, which is the fat tip pen, and I'm doing an aura around the whole piece.
I like the contrast of the line there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. If you don't have a fat tip pen, you can just use your 01 or whatever micron you have around, or pen you happen to have.
Very cool.
You can see that little Molygon just kind of sneaks in there. It doesn't even need a...
But I think you go back and
there you go.
take care of that, right? Very nice.
I'm always going in and adjusting things. I go in and have fun with the lines and touch it up and love it, add love. Now, we're going to do a version of the tile that Molly and Martha did, which was poke root. And this is called poke leaf. And it starts with the stem like the poke root.
And it's the same principle.
The same principle. And you're always going to be drawing a little bit behind. I'm adding this little detail on the stem. To me, it almost looks like a wood carving or wood block print. It has that, just a detail. The tiniest little detail will give it some more character. We're always looking to add one more little detail. And then besides for doing just a plain poke leaf, I added that turn in of the turn, what do you call that when the
It's like
leaf
it's folding over.
Yeah, the folding over. Poke leaf is one of my favorite tangles because it fits into so many really cool spaces. This triangular shape can elegantly fit, almost like an Escher drawing, you know.
Well, and it's just the way things in nature fit into the space that they're working with really, really elegantly.
So you can see how pretty this is. It goes around in this beautiful, almost looks like a sunflower, doesn't it, Rick?
Well,
yeah.
so right along with this whole sunflower theme, I think you, I don't know if you were picking up on that when you did that, but we've got the sunflowers in the front yard.
Right. So instead of petals, we have these little leaf shapes.
Yeah.
And it's such a organic. You can see that these leaves are all a little bit different, just all a little bit different.
And now she's doing just the tips behind there.
Peeking out.
Yeah.
Peeking out.
Definitely inspired by the sunflowers. Whether you
Right. I actually hadn't thought of that, and then you brought the sunflowers in on the introduction.
Right. So it's another example of like being, taking in the environment without perhaps even, being that deliberately conscious of it.
How pretty it is just with that, yeah?
Definitely sunflower.
Yeah.
And it gets even more so.
So now again with my graphic one, I'm going to go around and add a detail. So we're aura-ing, and take your time. I tend to do things pretty quickly because I've been an artist my whole life. I do everything quickly, and so you can stop the camera at any time to give yourself time to really enjoy the aura. And here's another one, another aura, but we're giving it a lot of space. And just so you know, it doesn't have to be exactly, but it's just roughly going around when it peeks out and then going around that beautiful shape of the leaf. It almost looks like what do I want to say? Instead of a quiet aura, it's kind of yelling at us a little bit.
It's resonating from a wider place. So you can, it's really nice that she's not trying to perfectly mimic it. It's this glow, this soft glow around it.
So the next step is something we call coffering. And what we're going to do is we're going to join the places that stick out. So you can see, go into those corners and
take the sharp edges of the inside part, yeah.
And see, they don't have to exactly match up.
Or make any sense at all.
But they will. When you see it, it's all done. It's going to look exactly like it's supposed to. But this is a really great technique. I use it all the time. And it's inspired by architectural coffering, Coffering. If you want to look that up.
So already it looks really three-dimensional, like it's sitting up on a stand. Or
like a ruffled collar. What are those ruff that people used to wear around their neck in, was it Netherlands?
Right,
yeah.
right.
There's a name for it, but I can't remember what it is. I'm going to call it a ruffle.
It's roughly okay. But there's this playfulness of how she connected those, and the playfulness is consistently, repeated throughout. I think that essence of pattern being a function of repetition is a really consistent theme throughout what we do.
So I'm dropping some lines here that aura, that pencil line, that phi ratio pencil line, just for some, to connect it to the other side. And I'm going to do one of my new favorite tangles, which is a really simple yet a complex tangle called Duda. And it's just a series of lines. And you start from the top and you go almost to the bottom. And then you go almost from the top to the bottom. And it creates this maze-like,
or zipper-like.
like a zipper. Like
As
that's
in-
why it's called Duda, zippity Duda.
Right.
And I love that.
So again, I really like the effect of these light and dark auras. That's
Yeah.
a really cool thing. And that unexpected turn there. Very, very cool.
So now it's like looking sort of almost like a pinwheel, or a sunflower.
It's a sunflower. It's a sunflower.
Okay, sweetie, it's a sunflower. So with my graphite pencil, I'm going to go in and add some details, and this is sort of where you would expect it, where this detail goes underneath the other part, and it always creates this magical in and out, and you almost start to lose that sense of the original Molygon shape.
A lot of the tangles really invite where to shade. You just see that over and under.
Right.
And you can play with it in different ways.
It's already lifting off.
And you'll notice how she added graphite to, not necessarily to what was already black.
So I'm going to go in and do the corners of the Molygon shape, like towards the middle toes, so that will recess. You can see that, and it already pops
Right.
like right there. Isn't that cool?
And you can always go back and add some more graphite.
And the magic wand, the tortillon, does things that you can't even imagine.
Yeah.
That this simple piece of twirled paper. I'm going to add graphite on the outside of that graphic one, and you can see the center almost elevating right before your eyes. Like it's the most cool thing.
And that little gap between the heavy aura and the inner tangle really helps set that off.
It's true, huh? It's just that
Yeah.
little bit of white, and it gets whiter.
Yeah.
How fun! Look
It
at
really
that.
does look like you pasted something on there.
I know.
Right?
So now I'm going to color in roughly every other little section that created with the coffering.
And again, sometimes it's every other one, sometimes it's part of one. Be playful with this. And
Like in nature. Nature doesn't count
yeah,
things.
like my 22 petals there.
Oh, yeah.
And even if it's not going from light to dark or dark to light, the tortillon makes this gray so smooth, even in a solid space.
So even when you see me with the tortillon bringing the graphite to the edge, you can see how soft the edges are. Now comes color.
So everybody got different colors in their kit.
We were talking about
Yeah.
how fun that is, because that almost forces you to have something that doesn't look like everybody else's. So you're going to use your colors as you choose. And I love that about these project packs, that kind of pushes you in a direction of making decisions on your own.
Very nice. Yeah, the center, just like the center of the sunflower, right?
Yeah.
That smooths into this paper fiber really well.
I love the texture of this paper. It makes you feel like a real artist. It makes me feel like a real artist. Like that I have the good fortune of working on this handmade paper that that the same paper that Da Vinci used or Rembrandt or wherever.
Right, from the same mill.
Yeah.
Oldest continually functioning mill.
Paper mill, yeah.
I like how you just did it on one side there.
I'm going to add some blue here.
And again, sort of balancing it on the parts of the bevels not gray.
Right.
And then here comes the magic wand. Just bringing it all together.
I didn't need to put much blue on because the blue is so intense. So it just needed a little bit. You get to know your colors, and sometimes you want intense, that's fine too.
Nice.
You know, I know that there's been people that have said that they just love to watch me draw. I love to watch me draw.
Right? We're mesmerized
I know,
here watching. It's like we're supposed to be talking.
We're supposed to be talking. I'm thinking, wow, that was cool. I didn't remember that part. So it's just creativity.
Right.
Anybody's creativity,
This series has been a real treat for us, and the comments have been wonderful. And after this, be sure to check out the wrap-up video because we have a lot of really cool stuff to share with you.
Yes, yes.
And
we're really enjoying seeing what everybody does.
It's been amazing to see
great.
where people are taking these seeds of ideas and just running with them.
Don't forget to put your chop and put your name and perhaps the date or maybe, some other little information that you were thinking about that day. This is all great stuff to go back and look at.
So thanks again, and we'll see you in a moment.
See ya. Bye.
Bye now.